Hello, everybody. Welcome in for another edition of the Rocky Top Roundtable alongside Eric Kane, Rob Lewis, and Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price. And, guys, obviously the biggest matchup of the season to this point for Tennessee coming up on the road at Oklahoma. We'll start with just kind of your overall thoughts and impressions as we set, a quarter of the way through the season here. Where do you feel like Tennessee's at heading into this monumental game?
Well, I think they're better at linebacker than I thought they would be, and I thought they were talented there, but I think they've played better there. The defensive line is where I thought they would be. I think the diversity of this offense, when you talk about two tight end sets, playing four wide, they've got a lot more diversity in this offense compared to what we've seen in years past.
Well, I would totally agree with that, and I would, take a step back. I know me and Eric look at, look at the opponents pregame, and to me, it's really fascinating when you look at the question marks Oklahoma fans probably had about their team coming in to the season, Tennessee fans, and the different answers they're getting. Two second-year quarterbacks. Tennessee fans are feeling great about theirs. Oklahoma fans, not so much. Offensive line, a lot of questions at Oklahoma. Not feeling great after 3 games. I know they've had injuries, but Tennessee, not as many question marks, but feeling really good there. Things have gone a lot differently for both those teams in 3 weeks as far as, the questions they had coming into the preseason.
Yeah, I think so far so good. Tennessee's a pretty good football team. Brent, kind of going off what you were talking about. We've got 10 personnel. Saw that last week with 4 wide sets with Mike Matthews in there. 12 personnel. We made many notes about that in the NC State game and since. Tennessee's base 11, tight end screens. Tennessee's run the football well defensively. I think they've been better than I thought overall. I recognize the opponents they played, but it all starts on that defensive line. So far so good. The task is going to get steeper here this week, but it's been a good start.
All eyes will be on those quarterbacks, especially Nico in his first road start. What does Nico need to have happen early to get some confidence out of the gate?
I don't know that anything move the ball, play themselves, I don't know that he has to have anything. I don't think he has to hit a big play to go, okay, I'm okay. I'm good on the road. I don't think they have to suddenly just dominate in the ground game so it takes all the pressure off of them. I just think they've got to play their game. They dictate so well to what defenses can do. And I think the question is going to be, can they keep him out of 3rd and long so that Brent Venables can't junk it up on him? Maybe that's the biggest thing that Nico needs early on in this game.
I just have a lot of confidence, and not just Nico, but in the help he'll get from Joey Halsey and Josh Heupel based on what we've seen in their body of work. I think they're going to have a plan. I have a lot of respect for Oklahoma's defense, but it's not all going to be on Nico. I don't believe, and the ground game's going to be good, and I have to believe he's going to have a lot of help from them from a play calling standpoint.
And the 5th-year center in Cooper Mays, right? It's not always been perfect on the road for Tennessee the last couple of years, but having Cooper Mays on your side is going to help. They need to communicate. I think just going out there and running the football. Sure, you don't have to dominate running the football early on, but running the football, doing what you do offensively with that guy number 6 and Dylan Sampson, and taking some of that pressure off of Nico, so you aren't in 3rd and long and allowing Brent Venables to do what he does.
Austin, my question would be to you is, how does Brent Venables play this? Does he drop 8 and play coverage? No. Does he say, you know what, I'm not going to let you run for 200 yards on me, so I'll crowd the box. We'll give you one-on-one opportunities and go see what you can do. I think that early in the game will be a nice chess match.
Yeah, I think he throws different looks at him maybe early, but I think he's going to eventually settle in to, I'm not dying by death by paper cut of 6-yard run, 7-yard run. I think he's going to say, if you're going to beat me, you're going to beat me with the young quarterback, and hope that the crowd kind of makes enough of an impression on Nico that it alters him and how he plays. So that's what I think you see. When you look at individually, matchup by matchup, where does Oklahoma have the advantage? Because I started looking at it, and I'm like, when you look at this individually, you're like, I'm not sure Oklahoma has an advantage any particular way. Right? You've got one?
I was going to say, coming into the season, you would have hands down said probably the passing attack for Oklahoma against Tennessee's defensive backfield. But so far, it's been injury after injury for that offense for Oklahoma. You've seen Jackson Arnold struggle at times. Defensively, specifically in the secondary, albeit the opponents, Tennessee's secondary's not been tested an awful lot so far. So if I had to point to one, maybe it's that one. It was preseason, but I don't know if I go that far entering game week.
Yeah, you can't say that because of the quarterback and because of the health that was at receiver. Now, if Oklahoma was 100% healthy receiver, had been there since day one, then maybe from that personnel group, but you have to throw the quarterback in there, and Arnold just hadn't looked the part yet.
Yeah.
Maybe you go advantage crowd, and advantage Oklahoma as an underdog. Because the pressure's on Tennessee in this game. Because they're the favorite. Everybody's talking about them as a playoff team. Oklahoma's down. They're not this. They're not that. Their fans don't have a ton of confidence. To me, they can be more loose at home than Tennessee. I would have thought it would have been the opposite coming into this game, even though there was pressure on Tennessee, but Tennessee would not be the favorite. Now you're a 7-point favorite.
However, I totally get that. I don't disagree with it, but man, you don't think Brent Venables feels pressure with the favorite son coming back and the people that, he's my favorite player. I hate the way it worked out. I'm going to have a hard time booing him.
And the way they've looked the first 3 weeks of the year. I mean, couldn't put Tulane away. The Houston game is what it is. I mean, Temple, anybody can beat Temple. So I think that and the way they've looked as well, there's some pressure.
Well, I mean, there's pressure on Tennessee from the big player. I get that. But from the Oklahoma inside, I bet Venables, he doesn't want to lose
I'm
to
sure
Josh
he does.
Heupel.
But it's easier for Brent Venables to play chip on the shoulder with his football team than for Josh Heupel to play the disrespect game with his football team
that's
going
true.
into this game.
I don't know, however. I mean, Kirby Smart plays the disrespect
That's
card.
a good point.
Nobody believes in the dogs.
That's exactly right. Great point.
I mean, like, if he can do it, anybody
Back
can.
to your question, I'm not sure there's an advantage anywhere from Oklahoma. Good point.
And that's my point. Is like, I think they're banking on the crowd and the night game getting to Tennessee, and then they get some momentum as a football team. I think it's harder to jumpstart. Like, I think Tennessee could just jumpstart themselves. I think Oklahoma needs a jumpstart. They need you to pull in there with the Toyota Corolla and
start driving
hook it up to the battery and try to jump them off.
I think I agree with you, and I mean, I don't know that people are selling it short, but I think the difference in the offenses is just so vast. I think Oklahoma's defense is good. I really do. I think they can slow Tennessee down, but Tennessee's defense, you have to look at the opponents, I know, but Oklahoma hadn't played any juggernauts either. And Oklahoma fans, I know you're coming into the SEC. This is a sentence you don't want to hear. The only two teams in the SEC that have been worse on offense than you are South Carolina and Kentucky in 3 weeks. And then you played Temple, Houston, and Tulane.
And then, Tennessee defensively, again, as we go back, I mean, you have Keenan Peely flying around everywhere. The secondaries kind of look better than expected. I think this defensive line, talked about it all offseason, in games like this on the road, you just wear down your opponent. Wear down your opponent in the second half. Tennessee's defensive line should own that, especially when you look at that offensive line injuries of your starting center. Is he going to go? He's got a high ankle sprain. Your left guard's out for the year. Your right tackle's probably not going to go. This should be Tennessee defensively being able to slow down an already kind of limping offense for Oklahoma.
Don't turn the football over. Don't give up chunk plays.
Yeah.
Don't give up freebies.
I agree, and as simple as, again, I'd put it in our, when we did the stock report, like Tuberville, kick it to Tulsa.
Yeah.
Like, don't, and I asked him, he walked through the complex Tuesday, and I asked him, I said, when you kicked that out of bounds, was you trying to kick it over there and you just mishit it a little bit? Or did you just mishit it? And he goes, I just mishit it.
Yeah.
Mishit him Saturday.
Just kick it through the back of the end zone. Don't get cute there. Don't do anything.
Do what you do so well. I mean,
put it at the 25 and go play.
Yeah.
Don't give them a chance for something fluky to happen. Make Oklahoma drive 75 yards on you, because I'm not sure, Rob, that they can line up on any kind of consistent basis and drive it on Tennessee all night long.
I just don't think they can run the ball. I mean, we've talked about it on the podcast. Arnold's the leading rusher at quarterback. They're averaging way less than 4 yards a carry. With their backs, Tennessee has been great on the ground. So deep. I just don't see any way Oklahoma is handing the football off and looking at 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 all night long.
Yeah, and to this point, their best rusher has been their freshman, but he's only had 15 or 16 carries this year. He's averaging 6 yards a carry, but it's almost like they don't trust him yet. And if that continues in this game, they're not 100%. I mean, they've had no rushing identity at all through 3 games.
Fill in the blank. This is a blank game. Like this is a Nico game.
Dylan Sampson.
Dylan Sampson. You got? Who you got?
Man, I think I can't single somebody. I think Tennessee's front 7 defensive line is going to overwhelm them. I think that's going to be the story. Whether that's James Pierce or Omar Norman Lott or Keenan Peely, just pick somebody in there. I think that's going to be the story. I think that's going to be too much to handle.
I think this is a Rodney Garner game.
That's good.
He's got 15 guys up there, 14 guys up there. They have not had a break. He has coached them like they're all a bunch of freshmen who don't know what they're doing. They are ready and built for games like this. Omari Thomas played 10 snaps, 12 snaps last week. None of those guys have played significant reps. This is a defensive front game, so give me Rodney Garner.
Hey, and down 2 Leos last week in a blowout game. James Pierce, 14 snaps. He's ready to go.
This is a Josh Heupel game. He's got that look in his eye. And I'll also add Arian Carter to that. I think his ability to play sideline to sideline when Arnold tries to when nothing's there to throw to, and Arnold tries to slip out the back end to pick up, a 3rd and 9. I think Carter's athletic ability shows up big in this football game.
Yeah, and I think it's because that front lets him get going. I mean,
Yeah.
remember, NC
Hand in
State,
hand.
what were they saying? NC State's offensive line, boy, they're a handful, whatever, 13 tackles for loss. Tennessee's defensive front dominated.
Yeah.
This is an Oklahoma offensive front that is mixed and matched with a bunch of young guys. You can stunt, twist, blitz, and just line up, pin your ears back, and go if you want
And they've
to.
given up 9 sacks to not a murderer's row defenses in 3 games.
As one person told me on Tuesday that's over at practice, the one thing you can say about this team is they have brought it every week, not only to the game field, but to the practice field. And their approach to Kent State, when you had all the reason in the world to just kind of go through the motions, to Chattanooga, is a mature football team, and you don't think that they're ready for this game? Again, I'll be fascinated to watch it all transpire, as we all will. It's Tennessee, it's Oklahoma, coming up Saturday night.